This e-learning lesson is going to cover breeding contracts under the Stallion Management section. We're going to set up the options in order to track the data that you want to in the breeding contracts, show you how to enter a new contract, show you how to view or edit existing contracts, how to handle multiple contracts for one mare during a specific season, and also some of the features of the breeding contracts. For this, we're going to go to Wise Option. In order to edit the options, you're going to need to be logged in as administrator for this. Go to Tools and Options. And then once this comes up, we're going to edit the breeding contract section. So your last tab on the right is breeding contracts. And in here, you're going to be able to set a numerous amount of data that you want to keep track of. You have 4 date fields, 4 value fields, and 4 flags. Now, when this comes to you, you may have either are updating a system that you haven't updated for the first time, or if you are a new member, it hasn't been changed at all. So either they say date 1, date 2, date 3, or it may say contract sent, contract received, date 3, date 4. But whatever it says in the white section, you can edit based on what you want to keep track of. This is what, on my farm example, I have chose to keep track of. Contract sent and received dates, breeding fee and stallion fee received dates, their booking fee, the stud fee, the total paid, total due, and also my flags are maybe a request for a future breeding season. If you have a stallion that's already booked full for the current season, you can mark a request that you've already sent a contract out and keep track of those. You can keep track of those that are paid in full, my on-site versus my ship semen requests, and also my embryo transfers or carries. So this is an example of how I've used it in our make-believe system that we have going here. You can use it however best suits your needs for your company. So that's how you would set up your options. Once you have set them up like you want, you would simply say OK. And at this point, you can return to login as whomever you log in all the time, not administrator. So for this, we're going to go to Stallion Management. And the first section is breeding contracts. We'll open that. And so you can see what we have in already. We'll click All Stallions and refresh for the current season. These are all the contracts that we currently have in the system. To add a new record, you would simply go down here and click the New Record button. And you would choose your stallion, and we'll do Wildcat. And let's do Dakota K. And if you tab over, the current season is going to be suggested, although you can start typing over it if it's not what you want. We can start to enter this information. You can always go back and edit the information, so if you only have partial, that's fine. Maybe we can say that we sent the contract. And maybe I choose to keep track of what my booking fee is and what the cost of my stud fee is. And she's paid nothing, and she owes $4,000. Now, any of the values that I put in here, you can see in red, have to be manually updated and do not affect the customer's account balance or any procedures. You have to add those manually. The reason for that is some breeding farms choose to actually charge their stud fee when the colt stands and nurses. Others choose it before they can be paid at all. Others when the mare is released. So due to the expansive nature of how people are doing things, we have to leave it very open. So as soon as I have put these in here, if I want to add a procedure, I'm going to save this, and then I can add a procedure using this shortcut here on the breeding contracts form. We will do that this is an on-site breeding, and maybe it's an embryo transfer. I can write any comments in here that I'd like. Once I'm happy with that, I can save it. The contract has been added. And now, since this is the second contract for this particular mare, it's going to ask me if I'd like to review the breeding order. We'll say yes. You can see what that's like. It's going to set the order in the order that they were entered into the computer system. So the Stallion Hot Sudden is first, and Wildcat, which is the one we're entering now, is second. If I want to edit that, I can. Let's say he just wins a big futurity or something goes and they change their mind and would like to breed to the other one first. We can move Wildcat up in the order and save it. So we've now saved it. We can refresh the list view. And if you look right here under Dakota K, we now have Wildcat breeding order number 1 and Hot Sudden breeding order number 2. Now, if I want to edit any of that or say I need to change it back, I would simply have Dakota K highlighted, either one of her contracts, and select the breeding order review button from the bottom here. I'm going to pick either one of these stallions and move Wildcat back down. Hot Sudden goes up. Works the same way if you have 5 of them here. So once I'm happy with that, I'm going to close it. I can refresh the list view. And now we can see that Hot Sudden's been moved back up to the top. Wildcat's number 2. If I want to look at what I've entered for this particular breeding contract, all I need to do is double-click it. And I can see everything. I can make comments. I can update anything that I want. If I don't want to update anything, I can simply close it. For this particular contract, I can open it and say that maybe I got my contract back. She also sent in the stud fee today. So you can see that I can just save this. It's been updated. I can refresh the list view. And now on this, I can also see that my contract has been received. And if I scroll over, the rest of the information is right there. Now, one of the things with these flags, the 4 flags right here, is I can turn my flags on, which is just another sort criteria here. And let's say that I would like to look at all of my on-site versus my ship semen. And let's just do for one particular stallion. We'll do for Hot Sudden. I can refresh this, and I have 4 breeding contracts that are marked for on-site. If I uncheck it and refresh, I have none that are marked for off-site. So I can look at all of my on-site versus off-site breedings. And if I do my on-site and I turn my flags off and refresh my list, I can see that I have 6 contracts in here. And I can see the ones that are marked on-site and ones that are not marked on-site. This works also for your bear transfers, your requests, any of those. If I were to turn my flags on and look at requests, if I had 3 requests in for 2008, I would be able to see those 3 and who they were. From here, just like whenever we received a booking fee or a breeding fee, I could add a procedure at that time, select my horse, bill it just like I was adding another task. So that is one of the features of this form. A couple of the other ones you can choose to print. There is a Mayor's Book 2 form that will print out for you of all of your bookings. The breeding contracts is a little bit of a misnomer. It came from the way the breeding contracts used to be in previous versions. Some of our clients like that report, so we decided to leave it there for them. It does not include all of the flags, all of the dates, or all of the variables. So you can choose to print that out, print it to screen, see what it looks like, but it is a misnomer. It doesn't print off the whole thing. However, to do that, we allow you to export it to Excel. So each one of the columns, each one of the rows would print to Excel. You can then sort it however you want, per stallion or by owner or by horse or however you desire. So this is really our answer to getting any report that you want off of this sheet. So based on that, we have learned how to set up the options for your breeding contracts, how to enter new contracts, how to view or edit existing contracts, multiple contracts for a mare for a specific season, and also some of the breeding features of breeding contracts. One other thing I might say before we close this is on any of these, you can go to a specific mare from any of her records, and let's pick Dakota K, the one we were just working on. And there she is. And on any of these mare management sections, it shows that she's booked 2. And here are my 2 stallions with their breeding order. If I have any questions about that, I can click this question mark, and it will take me back to the breeding contract screen with her name already selected for the current season, and here are the 2 contracts. And if any time I want to look at that, I can simply double-click it, open it up, read anything I want. But that's another feature of why we keep the breeding contracts, is so that in the mare management section, it is right there and visible. So for that lesson, we have covered all of these things as well as some of the other features.